When I went to IKEA to get this condiment, unfortunately it was being discontinued. Instead of buying it, I decided to make this on my own. Instead of the usual 3 ingredients, I decided to use 2 ingredients instead, onion and cucumber. Get yourself ready with 2 large onion, which is approximately 350 grams. I like to use yellow onions instead of red onions, but you can use any onions you like. What sort of onions that you like? Let me know in the comments below. When you cut the onions, make sure you dice it up. Remove the skins, make sure that you peel it off. You could use the skins for stalks later. I was told that the shell could be also used as onion powder, so maybe I could try that in a future stage. When you dice the onion, cut the top and the bottom. Slice it horizontally first, then after that, slice it vertically. If you see any pieces that are not cut properly, all you have to do is slice it further by putting the vertical side down and slice it more. I have not added any garlic before, but if you do, let me know in the comment below. Are you team onion or team garlic? Let me know too in the comments below. Now let's talk about history of onions. Onions have been cultivated for over 5,000 years, originating in Central Asia, modern-day Iran and Pakistan before the spreading globally. The purpose of growing onion is for medicinal purpose. It actually supports health, reduce inflammation, manage blood sugar, and act as antimicrobials. So back then, they used onions as a form of preservatives in their dishes. So pickles is technically preservative, and therefore we should use them in our preservatives. Now let's talk about garlic history. Garlic was grown over 5,000 years in history, originating in Central Asia, which is somewhere around Tian Shan or Pamir Mountain. Garlic was also grown as a medicinal purpose. Its purpose is to use it as a form of antimicrobial, antifungal, and antivirus properties. So pickling was originated for over 4,000 years ago, which the earliest record method dating back to the ancient Mesopotamia around 2400 BCE. There were no refrigeration back then, so what they'll do is that in the ancient times, they will increase the acidity of the food, and by increasing the acidity of the food, they will be able to last longer than usual shelf life. Why do I really like pickles? Well, basically I just love it for the flavor. I don't really just use it for a sort of preservation, but it's a bonus for me. And when it comes to pickles, I really like it sweet more than salty. So are you team sweet or are you team salty? Let me know in the comments below. So when you choose an onion, you choose either red or yellow. Red is more for milder, yellow is for more pungent. Once all the onions are diced, all I have to do is just simply transfer all of them into a bowl. Once that's done with the onions, let's cut the cucumber. For cucumbers, I prefer these tiny little pickled cucumbers rather than the bigger ones. The bigger ones you need to peel out the seeds, while the tiny ones, although there's some seeds in it, you don't really need to peel it off. The best part about these little cucumbers is that they are sweet and crunchy at the same time. There's nothing wrong with larger cucumbers. All you have to do is just remove the seeds and just cut as usual. Once all the cucumbers are cut, put it into the onion mixture, and now let's prepare the brine. For the brine, we need to first measure the cucumbers and the onions in total. First, you need to get the weighing scale, tare it until you get reset to 0, and then once you do it, you measure it up. So in this case, it's about 750 grams. So the formula for an ideal brine is about 2%, which is about 15 grams salt, and about 10% of sugar, which is about 75 grams of sugar. I know that it sounded like a lot of sugar and salt, but that's the reason for it. You want to use salt and sugar to remove the excess moisture so that you can make it as dry as possible. Take the weighing scale again and measure it one more time just to make sure. You don't have to worry if there's excess salt or sugar because it'll just be a little bit more salty or a little bit more sugary. Remember to wash your hands and then use your hands to get down and dirty and start mixing the mixture. Make sure that all the salt and sugar is mixed thoroughly until it's well incorporated. Once it's fully incorporated, make sure it rests for at least 2 hours so that the salt and sugar could actually remove all the excess liquid out. When you use sugar and salt to remove the moisture, this is called the osmotic dehydration. This is also another ancient preservative method that has been used like thousands of years. To remove the excess moisture, make sure you transfer it into a cheesecloth and start squeezing all of it until it's fully dry, or as dry as possible. Here's a fun fact about cheesecloth. Do you know that cheesecloth is not only used for cheese? You could also use this for tofu as well to squeeze out the excess moisture so that you can actually make hardened tofu. Should I make cheese with this cheesecloth? Let me know in the comment below. I would love to hear from you. I'm trying to find a recipe for mozzarella. If you know any of this recipe, let me know in the comment below. I'm also new to the tofu recipe, and if you know any tofu recipe, let me know in the comments below too. Once all the excess liquid is removed, rest it for at least 30 more minutes. Once all of that done, let's start making the pickling brine. The pickling brine is different from the excess moisture that is removed from the vegetables. Now you may be asking, why do a pickling brine and not use the moisture itself? Well, we want to remove the moisture because the moisture feels like cut grass. You don't want your pickles to smell like cut grass, don't you? For the pickle brine, you need 1 cup of water and half cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of mustard seed, 1 tablespoon nutmeg, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. If you don't have any nutmeg, you can use other spices as an alternative. Let me know in the comments below what sort of spices do you use. Now let's talk about pickling brine. So the purpose of having a pickling brine is to increase the acidity so that there will be less bacteria that's growing in the vegetables that you are pickling. 2 key takeaways in preserving. The first key takeaway is to remove moisture. The second key takeaway is to increase the acidity of the brine. If any of your school teacher asks you about this preservation method, you can ask them to watch this video in your science class. And when it comes to science class, this is a topic of preservation. Stir the mixture well and add all the brine vegetables into it, which lead to the third key takeaway, which is pasteurization. We want to fully cook the vegetables so that we would increase it by up to 60 degrees Celsius to kill all the bacteria, and therefore the pasteurization method occur. Pasteurization is another method of preserving food. When you cook the vegetables, make sure you cook it all the way through until it's caramelized and green. Caramelization is also known as the Maillard effect. The Maillard effect is where sugar and proteins combine together, creating a savory, nutty, roasty, meaty, sweet, and floral notes. It also generates a complex smell. That's the reason why I love to cook it. Once it's done, place it in a sterilized jar, and that's it. If you like this recipe, share it with your friends.